And good evening, Sword family. All right, so tonight will be, at least for now, the final female Chinese folk hero that we'll be doing on this channel. And that will be the pirate queen of the Chinese seas, Zhèng Yīsǎo, as requested by Dan Hollifield and voted on by a few of the Sword family, but there were enough votes to decide that this is the one that we should be doing tonight. Now, before we really get started tonight, I have a question to ask everyone. Because in 2 days, we'll be doing our usual Nine Dragons play stream. We're still going to do it. Don't worry about that. We're still going to do it. But I have this horrible tendency to get bored with things. And also, as I've mentioned several times, I have a very well-known completionist streak. So, we have reached the highest level I have ever reached on any Nine Dragons character in the 16, however many years I've been playing the game. I've never reached level 100. I've never reached second role on any character ever. But the last few streams have been mostly grinding with very little actual questing getting done. And so, here is the question. Because I'm doing this for the audience. I'm not doing this for myself. What would everyone think about starting a new character in a different clan just so that you can see the storyline from another side? I would even be willing, wouldn't be my favorite thing to do in the world, but I would even be willing to do one of the quote-unquote evil clans, as long as it's not Heavenly Demon. Those guys are dicks. I'm not going to play those guys. But Sacred Flower, Brotherhood of Thieves, Shaolin, League of Beggars, any of those. Just to show another side of the story. I can always also just continue playing my Wudong Warrior. But I want to be able to show you not just the warrior class. I want to be able to show you a hybrid or a healer, or God forbid if you ask me to, a nuker. Just so you can see how the gameplay is different based on the different kind of character that you want to play. So that's my question. Starting this Monday, or even possibly starting in a couple of weeks in January. Let me check my calendar here. January 5th would be the very first Nine Dragons stream of 2026. That would mean that for the next 2 streams, would most likely be just a lot of grinding and very, very little questing getting done. And that's not really the way that I enjoy playing games. I like having things to do. I like having direct... I know I complain a lot about having to run between maps. And it does get tedious. But just staying in one spot and just slaughtering things. It's a game, YouTube. Calm down. Just, it doesn't appeal to me. But again, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for all of you. So whatever you want to see, that's what I'm going to do. Just know that if I'm just grinding and not doing a whole lot of questing, I'm going to have to find a way to fill the empty space. I can't just play the game and not fill the dead air with like conversation and questions and things like that. So that is the question of the day. And I will essentially leave that up to you. Shut up, Discord. So whatever you guys want to do, that will be what we do. Okay? Okay. I've played Shaolin. I played a lot of Wudon. I have played Sacred Flower. I have played Brotherhood of Thieves. I played very, very little of League of Beggars. So if I was going to play something, I would prefer to stay on the good side of things and possibly play League of Beggars because I played so very little of their storyline that I would actually be like surprised by things that happen there. But I've been rambling for like almost 10 minutes and we haven't even really gotten to comments yet. So, but I wanted to do that at the very beginning. That way people could have time to think about it. And they would have time to tell me what you all want. Because I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for you. Okay. So, off to comments. Shut up, Discord. No talking meat. Shush. And first through the door, as usual, at 4:15 is our very own Foxy. Welcome to the Tea House, where we will be celebrating the Chinese Pirate Queen. Indeed. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. And there's the man himself, Dan Hollifield. Good evening. Good evening, Dan. And evening, Dan from Foxy. And Brioni is here joining us. She doesn't come around very often, so everyone be very, very nice and welcome. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Yep. Thank you for coming. Hopefully Kevin will wake up because he wanted to see this. And Foxy waving back, and Dan is looking forward to this. I am too. Should be interesting. I hope so. And Carl is joining us. Hello, everyone. Hello, Carl. And right behind him is Donna. Hey, all. Hello, Donna. And Dan greeting Carl and Donna, and Foxy greeting Donna and Carl. And Carl's trying to recall where he first heard about the lady under discussion. Might have been Puppet History or maybe a more serious program. Well, I did talk about her a little bit a few months ago. when I did 4 female Chinese, or 4 famous, God, what was it? Famous Chinese women of history, I think is what it was. And it was Zhèng Yīsǎo, Hua Mulan, Meng Wei, and Wǔ Zétiān. So that might have been it, but it might have been somewhere else, because that was a few months ago. I'm not 100% sure how many months ago. Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was a few months ago, though. And Ruby is joining us. Evening, everybody. Hello, Ruby. Carl greeting Ruby. Hello again, everyone else. And Kitty is joining us. Hey, all. Hello, Kitten. And greetings for Kitty. And Kitty says, been really enjoying these folk hero shows. I'm glad. I've been enjoying doing them. Hopefully one day he does Princess Ping Yang and the Women's Army. I plan to. It's on my my Google Doc of future shows, along with the mummified person that she suggested. They're both on the list, so it will get done. And Donna greeting Ruby and Kitty. And there's our lone Twitch viewer, Midnight. Hey, Sword People. Hello, Midnight. And Foxy greeting Kitty and Ruby. And Donna greeting me. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. And Trey is joining us. Hey, all. Hello, Trey. And Houston, Texas, Dave. Deck the halls with bladed thesis. I'm not going to sing it. Not going to happen. Maybe after a few gallons of eggnog, I might actually sing, but. And Donna greeting Trey and Dave, and Carl greeting Trey and Dave, and Foxy greeting Trey and Dave. Grinch says yes. Okay, yeah. Does the story change much, or the quest if you change character types? Okay. If you just change character types and you stay within the same clan, then no. It would be the exact same quests, but gameplay would change. Because, like, if I played a hybrid, which is, you know, the intersection between a healer and, well, actually, hybrid is kind of the intersection between a healer and everything else, which would be my preferred class. If I played a hybrid, I would only have 1 or maybe 2 sword styles. So most of my fighting would be with fists. So you'd get a lot of the claw type weapons that I have. And I would have a lot of buffs, and I would have heals that I could heal myself. I could heal other players. I could buff myself. I could buff other players. But if I changed to a different clan, like if I played Shaolin or Beggars or Thieves or anything like that, the quests will change. The road, excuse me. That one came out of nowhere. The road to the Dragon quest will change. So if I stayed Wudon, the quests wouldn't change, but gameplay would change. But if I changed clans, then the gameplay would change and the quest would change. The road to Karma and all those would be very similar, very much the same. But it's the road to the Dragon quest. That's the main storyline. That's your character trying to find out what happened to the missing dragon from their clan. So the road to the Dragon quest would change. And Donna says, as someone with 21 so far characters on WoW, seeing new characters would be interesting. Okay. All right. So, okay. Sounds like it does. Nice. Yeah. Hey, Kickbot, piss off. Just for fun, let's bring this up. This stream sucks. My stream is much better. I'm live. Yeah, piss off. Bad stream. Watch me. No. Go away. And Midnight would like to see things from a different school. Okay. All right. And Sarah is joining us, listening. Great to be in the midst of the fun mayhem. Good to see you again, Sarah. And Donna greeting Dark Mistress. And Carl, sounds like beggar time. Yeah, I can absolutely make a beggar. Cool that they give different storylines for different class. Not different classes. The classes will stay much the same. If I played a hybrid on Wudong, all of the quests would be exactly the same. But it would not if I changed clans and classes. Is that the Kevin from our humor group? Yes. Yes, it is. Indeed. Hey, Kevin, he's not here yet. He might still be asleep. Heard about the Pirate Queen almost 2 or 3 years ago. Wow. Then I don't know. 4 recording. Oh, yeah. The famous women of Chinese history. 4 months ago. Jesus. Wow. Time flies. And Waydor is joining us again. Merry Christmas. Hello. And Dave is greeting Trey and Foxy and Carl and Donna and me and Donna and Blitzen and Rudolph. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donna, Blitzen. And Foxy greeting Waydor and more greetings. And there's Kevin. Yo. And Prioni waving at Kevin. Variety is fun. Yeah. And hi, fan from Sarah. And Bot is back again with 4. Somebody want to hop over to friggin' Kick and... I suppose I can do it, but I'm not on Kick right now. Somebody want to hop over there and banhammer somebody? Because if you're trying to get people to come and actually watch you, you're not doing a very good job. You're kind of being a dick. Okay, so next question. Sounds like we're going to start a whole new character on Monday. Cool beans. Do we want another male character, or do we want to have a female character? And what clan shall we join? I would definitely go with beggar because, like I said, I've not really played a whole lot of beggar because do I prefer Jian or Dao? 1. Practice Han Jian. 2. Sharp Han Jian. 3. Sharp Han Jian. And I have 3 more Han Jian on a small sword rack in the hallway. I have 2 or 3 more Jian in the spare bedroom. And as far as Dao goes, I have 1, 2, 4. So yeah, I am. Yes, Foxy is very much. Yes, I am a Jian guy, very much so. Epic fail troll. Yeah, you're not kidding. Trey doesn't have ops. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it would definitely be a whole new world. Could do the 12 days with sharpened pointies. On the 12th day of Swordmas, my true love gave to me. I probably could, though. LOL Foxy was waiting for him to say Dao at the end of showing up. Well, I don't have a Dao currently within arm's reach. Really? You okay? All right. Okay. Sometime in the next 5 days, I will find the time and I will do a short form video on this channel of the 12 days of Swordmas. Okay? This is probably a bad idea, but I want to do it. Because it has been requested by the love of my life, I'm going to do it. Oh, God. Okay. I just ruined myself, but okay. Yeah. Yeah, you think you're going to have to help with it now. You crap style over. You're not wrong. All right. Zhèng Yīsǎo, the pirate queen of the South China Seas, from 1801 to 1810. She was born Shiyang in 1775. In 1801, at the age of 26, she married a pirate named Zhèng Yī. Zhèng Yīsǎo just means the wife of Zhèng Yī in Cantonese. So that's, I mean, just wife of Zhèng Yī. She was also known as Shi Xiangyu, no, Shi Xianggu, Shuk Yong, and Qing Shi. When her husband died in 1807, she took over his entire fleet with the support of Zhèng Yi's son, who she eventually married. But we don't start at the beginning. We don't start at the end. We start at the beginning. So, as I said, she was born in 1775 near Shunhui in Guangdong province. She may have been a boat person. You know, a ethnic group of people in southern China that just live on boats. And sometimes she is described as having worked on a floating brothel in Guangdong, possibly as a prostitute, but the evidence for this claim is not great. But in 1801, she married Zhèng Yī, who fought as a privateer for the Vietnamese Tay Son dynasty. I'm not great at Vietnamese history, so I'm not 100% sure on like pronunciation of that because I'm not Vietnamese and I haven't really studied Vietnamese. But Zhèng Yī was a pirate for the Vietnamese dynasty of Tay Son. Zhèng Yī, under the Vietnamese patronage, had fought in his cousin's fleet, and Zhèng Yī hailed from a family of pirates whose roots traced back to the Ming Dynasty. He had one adopted son who he abducted in 1798 at the age of 15 and pressed him into piracy. In 1802, a year after the marriage, Zhèng Yī's cousin, Zheng Qi, was captured and executed by the Nguyen regime in the town of Jiangping on the border of Vietnam and China. In July of 1802, Nguyen An entered the city of Thang Long, ending the Teahouse dynasty. Zhèng Yī took over Zheng Qi's fleet after his death and sailed back to the Chinese coast with all of the former pirates of the Teahouse patronage. After a period of infighting amongst pirates near Guangdong, Zhèng Yī, with the support of Zhèng Yīsǎo, united the pirates into a confederation through an agreement signed in July of 1805. Each pirate leader agreed to sacrifice some of his autonomy for the greater good. The confederation consisted of 6 fleets distinguished by the color of their flags. The flags were yellow, white, purple, blue, black, and red. Zhèng Yī commanded the largest, the red flag fleet, of 200 ships. Zhèng Yīsǎo and Zhèng Yī had 2 sons, Zhèng Yīshì, born in 1803, and Zhèng Shengshì, born in 1807. So they already have the adopted, kidnapped son. Then they have 2 more children in 1803 and 1807. Have to do the counting with the laugh of the Count of Sesame Street between each number. Oh, God. Need to get back to my grandma got bitten by a zombie. Well. Hope it was his son from her. No, I was adopted. Secret Humor Group Bad Christmas Song Challenge. Of course, go for it. Nah. Please don't give Uncle Carl any ideas. No songwriter, was just putting it out there for those that are. Got himself in a win situation. Yeah, well. Sit around the fire and listen to the ancient history from Thesis. Well, yeah. Why did nobody want to play cards with the pirates? Because he was standing on the deck. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. In November of 1807, Zhèng Yī fell overboard in a storm and died at the age of 42. So they had been married for a grand total of around 6 years. He had a 200-ship fleet. He had fought for the Vietnamese during a war, and he fell overboard and drowned. Zhèng Yīsǎo immediately took over the operations of the Red Flag Fleet through the support of Zheng Yi's nephew, Zheng Baoyang, and the son of Zheng Qi, Zheng Anbang. Zheng Yīsǎo balanced the various factions in the Confederation and was familiar with Wu Podai, leader of the second biggest fleet, the Black Flag Fleet, who again had been abducted by Zheng Yi and pressed into piracy at a young age. Most importantly, though, Zheng Yīsǎo had the support of Zhang Bao, who was in effect the commander of the Red Flag Fleet. Zheng Yi dies. Oldest son takes over. Oldest son supports his mother, and she basically becomes not only command of the Red Flag Fleet, but she also effectively inherited the informal command over the entire Confederation. Zhang Bao became the commander of just Red Flag. According to a government official who led negotiations with Zheng Yīsǎo in 1810, Zhang Bao obeyed Zheng Yīsǎo's orders and consulted her on all things before acting. So despite the fact that he was effectively the leader of the Red Flag Fleet, he went and consulted Zheng Yīsǎo before doing anything ever. After taking control of the Federation, Zheng Yīsǎo and Zhang Bao entered a physical relationship. And there is speculation that they were already in a physical relationship before Zheng Yi died. Yes, you definitely fit in. Fell or fell? Well, good question. But considering that it was during a storm, you could maybe make an argument that he literally just fell, like accidentally fell and not was like pushed. But what kind of ship is most feared by pirates? The steady relationship. Oh boy. And stepmother, not the green room. Yeah, pretty much. Come look at the side of the ship. Yeah. Education only taught in limericks. That would be great. Sounds fitting. Long as you stir smoothie, if you don't, it clumpens. This is true. There's been a fly in here all day long, and it's just been buzzing right by my window, and it's driving me insane. Now, in 1808, just 1 year after Zheng Yīsǎo took power, the entire confederation of the 6 flag fleets became significantly more active. In September, Zheng Bao ambushed a brigadier general of Humen and destroyed his fleet of 35 ships. A month later in October, Zheng Bao defeated a lieutenant colonel, and these two significantly reduced the Chinese provincial fleet in half. Just in 2 attacks, the entire provincial fleet was cut in half and cleared the way for the pirates to enter the Pearl River. In 1809, the provincial commander, with around 100 ships, engaged a small group of pirates, and the pirates called Zhèng Yīsǎo for aid. Before the battle, Zhèng Yīsǎo took command of the Red Flag Fleet and the White Flag Fleet. You have no idea how difficult it is to say flag fleet so many times in a row. I'm going to trip over it, and when I do, just shush. But she took control of both the Red Flag and the White Flag Fleet and ordered Zheng Bao to engage from the front with around 10 ships. Zheng Bao's lieutenants were to outflank from the side, and the leader of the White Flag Fleet was to cut off from the rear. Zheng Yīsǎo charged from the front with the bulk of both the Red and White Flag Fleets and routed the provincial commander. In July, the Qing Navy killed one of Zhèng Yīsǎo's pirates and destroyed the entire White Flag Fleet. Losing a brigadier general and 25 more ships to Zheng Bao. The death of the pirate and the destruction of the entire White Flag Fleet did not deter Zhèng Yīsǎo, and in August of 1809, she ordered a massive raid. Zheng Bao would raid around Dongguan with the Red Flag Fleet. Guo Podai would raid around Shunde with the Black Flag Fleet, and Zheng Yīsǎo would lead the raid around Xinhui with her personal fleet. Guo Podai worked his way through the many waterways along the Pearl River for 6 weeks on a raiding campaign which ultimately caused the deaths of approximately 10,000 people. In September, Zheng Bao destroyed a large town not far from Humen and killed 2,000 more people. Zhèng Yīsǎo took command of 500 ships and anchored near Tanzhou. And on the 29th, she ordered Zheng Bao to raid the town of Shating, further upriver, where he captured 400 civilians. In October, Zhèng Yīsǎo ordered Guo Podai to anchor around Zhongxi, where he raided 2 days later. But by late October, the provincial fleet was back to full strength and ready for action. However, they were defeated again by Zheng Bao in October near the town of Shawan. Now we get to the really, really fun thing. The Battle of the Tiger's Mouth. The Battle of the Tiger's Mouth was a series of battles between the Portuguese stationed in Macau and the Red Flag Fleet of Zhèng Yīsǎo, led by her second in command. Chinese officials, in absolute desperation, look to foreigners to obtain aid against Zhèng Yīsǎo and the Pirate Confederation. The Portuguese Empire, which had control of Macau at the time, agreed to help in September of 1809. Zhèng Yīsǎo had captured a Portuguese sailing ship of a governor named Antonio Bathello Homan. And the Portuguese wanted payback. So they agreed to help the Chinese government. In early November of 1809, Zhèng Yīsǎo left the Pearl River with only a few ships and anchored at Tongchung Bay, north of Lantau Island, for repairs. The Portuguese sent 3 ships and a larger ship to harass Zhèng Yīsǎo at Lantau. She immediately calls the Red Flag Fleet for aid. A day later, Zhang Bao arrives at Tongchung Bay, and seeing that the Portuguese were no longer there, anchored his ships for repair and maintenance. 3 days later, 6 Portuguese ships, and I'm not even going to attempt some of these names, but we have a frigate, 5 battleships under the command of an artillery captain, blockaded Zhèng Yīsǎo and Zhang Bao inside the bay. For almost 2 weeks, 93 more ships from the provincial fleet joined the Portuguese in their blockade. The pirates made various attempts to counterattack and break the blockade, but were unsuccessful due to unfavorable winds. And on the 23rd of November, the pirates managed to capture 1 ship from the provincial fleet and killed all 75 men aboard. The situation turned into a stalemate between the pirates and the joint Sino-Portuguese fleet. Frustrated with the lack of progress, the provincial fleet commander converted 43 of his ships into fire ships and set them adrift towards Tongchung Bay 5 days later. A fire ship, if you don't know, is exactly what it sounds like. You take a wooden sailing vessel and just set it on fire and push it towards the enemy. Remember when we did the Battle of Red Cliff? And how Cao Cao had his entire fleet chained together in one spot? And the Allies basically did the same thing. They set fire to a whole bunch of ships and pushed them towards Cao Cao's fleet. Same idea here. Provincial commander sacrificed 43 ships by setting them on fire and sending them adrift towards the Pirate Confederation. The pirates were able to divert the fire ships, towed them ashore, put the fire out, and broke them up for firewood. At this point, the wind shifted, and 2 of the fire ships were blown back towards the provincial fleet and set 2 of the provincial fleet commander's own ships ablaze. On the 29th of November, Zheng Bao and Zhèng Yīsǎo took advantage of the wind, broke the blockade, and escaped back into the South China Sea. The provincial fleet lost 3 ships and 74 men, while the pirates lost 40 men but 0 ships. A trap was set. Ships were sacrificed. The Chinese government sought out foreigners to help fight against these pirates. And in the end, the fleet lost 3 ships and 74 men, and the pirates lost 40 men and no ships. That sounds like the provincial government kind of failed, doesn't it? And yes, Inigo has been hunting the fly all day. I don't know where it is now, but we totally work in limericks. Just listen to this. It works. Yeah. And in singing after a couple of gallons of eggnog or whatever it takes. Yeah. Cool story, though. Songs are running through my head of what these could be, trying my fingers so they don't get the channel banned. Yeah, well, it's all good. No worries. Now, unfortunately, in 1810, the Pirate Confederation ended. Why? Well, sources differ on why. By the early months of 1810, the Confederation realized that they were in such a position of power that they could negotiate with the government to surrender without any punishment or reparations being imposed upon them. The government was so desperate to end the piracy that they were ready to just do whatever they needed to get these people to retire. A different viewpoint is that by the end of 1809, Zhèng Yīsǎo and the Pirate Confederation were at odds. The leader of the Black Flag Fleet refused to reinforce Zhèng Yīsǎo and Zheng Bao during the Battle of Tiger's Mouth, and later openly fought with Zheng Bao. In January of 1810, the leader of the Black Flag Fleet officially surrendered to the viceroy of Liangguang and was rewarded with a rank of sub-lieutenant. Also in 1809, we have the Portuguese and now the British joining in. In September of 1809, the British ship Mercury agreed to join 60 provincial warships in patrolling the inner passage of the Pearl River. In November, the Portuguese signed an agreement that called for 6 Portuguese ships to join the provincial fleet on patrol for 6 months. The viceroy of Liangguang was a man named Bai Ling, and his policy of training militias and embargoes cut off the pirate supply lines. And all of this combined, plus the limit of the Confederation, which was held together by Zhèng Yīsǎo, led her to consider surrendering in early 1810. And with Macau's magistrate acting as mediator, Zhèng Yīsǎo, Zheng Bao, and Bai Ling officially met on Zheng Bao's flagship in February of 1810. The negotiations quickly broke down when Bai Ling refused the demand from Zhèng Yīsǎo and Zheng Bao of retaining 5,000 subordinates and 80 ships for entering the salt trade and joining an anti-pirate campaign in western Guangdong. At the end of the day, 10 British people from the East India Company sailed past the fleet and scared Zheng Bao, who thought there were going to be some sort of ambush, and they quickly sailed away. In April, Zhèng Yīsǎo led a delegation of 17 women and children to Guangzhou to negotiate with Bai Ling, where he yielded to her demands. And on April 20th of 1810, Zhèng Yīsǎo and Zheng Bao officially surrendered to Bai Ling with 17,318 pirates, 226 ships, 1,315 cannons, and 2,798 other assorted weapons. That is a massive fleet. And Zhèng Yīsǎo alone surrendered with 24 ships and 1,433 pirates under her personal command. Zheng Bao was awarded the rank of lieutenant and was allowed to retain a private fleet of 20 to 30 ships. Zhèng Yīsǎo was officially given permission to marry Zheng Bao. Zhèng Yīsǎo and all of her crew were pardoned, and the men received wine, money, and food. Along with the pardon, Zhèng Yīsǎo was given land in Canton, where she owned and operated a gambling house that was said to be very, very successful. After surrendering, Zheng Bao distinguished himself by defeating the Blue Flag Fleet and, along with Zhèng Yīsǎo, was transferred to Fujian, where Zhèng Yīsǎo gave birth to another son, Zhang Yulin, in 1813. At some point later, she also gave birth to a daughter, but birthday and name are unknown. In 1822, Zheng Bao died while serving as a colonel in charge of the Penghu garrison. In 1824, Zhèng Yīsǎo returned to Guangdong with her son. In 1840, she filed charges against a government official for having embezzled 28,000 taels of silver that Zheng Bao had handed over to him back in 1810 for the purchase of an estate. The viceroy of Languang, Lin Zishu, petitioned the emperor to dismiss the case, which of course he did. And in 1844, at the age of 68 or 69, having led a relatively peaceful life after the death of her second husband, Zhèng Yīsǎo died as the proprietor of a gambling house somewhere around Guangdong. That is the life of the pirate queen of the South China Seas, Zhèng Yīsǎo. Now, when I discussed her before, I did talk about this, but it definitely bears repeating. The code of the Red Flag Fleet. If any pirate privately goes on shore, he shall be taken, his ears mutilated, and he will be paraded around the fleet and executed. Not the least thing shall be taken privately from stolen and plundered goods. Everything shall be registered. The pirate receives for himself out of 10 parts only 2, the other 8 going to the storehouse, and anyone who steals from the storehouse will be executed. And women captured from villages shall not be harmed or harassed. All women captors shall be registered, their place of origin recorded, and be given separate private quarters. Those who rape or commit adultery with women captives shall be executed. Additional codes were anyone caught giving commands on their own or disobeying a command from a superior is immediately decapitated. Any pilfering from public funds and stealing from villagers who supplied pirates were also capital offenses. No pirate could retain any good before it was inspected. Goods had to be registered and then distributed by the fleet leader. 20% of all booty was to be returned to the original captor and the remainder placed in the storehouse. And all currency was to be handed over to squadron leader. Part of that was turned over to the fleet and some sent back to the captor. Zhèng Yīsǎo was portrayed in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, in Madam Pirate Becoming a Legend, in the books The Flower Boat Girl, and Deep as the Sky, Red as the Sea. In television, in Captain Destiny, in a 2022 Doctor Who special, and in season 2 of the Max series Our Flag Means Death. And let's see if I can find a picture of Madam Ching from Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I'm sure I can. Not a great picture, but yeah, that'll work. Go ahead and share screen. And add to stage. That is Madam Ching from Pirates of the Caribbean. That is based on Zhèng Yīsǎo, Jing Shi. Yeah, that is exactly like a floating country of its own. You're not wrong. She had more pirates than there are in our town. She had more pirates than there are in our town. 1,433 just by herself. Just for fun, I'm going to look this up. Because I'm not. Okay, maybe not, but total population of my town is 8,216 people. Now, that's the county seat. There is a smaller town just a few miles that way with 2,112. No, that way. Yeah. That way is 1,605. Quite the story. You're not kidding. Sounds like a girl after my own heart, yeah. When the boss is a woman, women get protection. This is true. Need to watch Our Flag Means Death while I have Max. Stars, well, yeah. Seen that episode of Doctor Who. That doesn't surprise me. Not sure, but I'm thinking that's more than my town as well. Not quite. We're at 4,000. Yeah, see? So, that is Zhèng Yīsǎo by request of Dan Hollifield. She was a beast. That's not any kind of over-exaggeration. She was... How many pirates in my town? Hold on. Oh, I wouldn't even know how to look this up. I wouldn't even know how to look this up, but I'm going to try something. Oh, of course not, you putz. There actually are pirates. No. Pirates aren't in the next town over. Nope, that's the Spartans. The pirates are the Mount Harmon Junior High. The pirates are the mascot of the junior high school here in this town. And if that gives away where I live, I don't care. I don't care. I've said it before. No, Emory High School is the Spartans. More pirates than the entire Major League Baseball. This is also true. I've said flat out the town I live in. So, whatever. I went from, in school, I went from a chief in elementary school to a wildcat in middle school to a pirate in junior high to a dino in high school. College, I didn't really pay attention. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the mascot is for. And it's not the same anymore anyway. Sarah's a Trojan. Hold on. I have to. I'm sorry. I got to do this. I don't get a lot of opportunity to use this sign anymore. But Sarah's a Trojan. Don't even know what the local high school team are called, even though I can hear them playing. I can hear, if my window is open right here, I can sometimes hear football games. I can hear the band if the window's open. Yes, Foxy was a Blue Jay in high school. High school. Yes, I am. You're welcome. Sarah, I'm not gonna verbalize the thoughts going through my head right now, but needless to say, not the green room. Okay? We'll just leave it at that. High school team name was Crimson Tide. High school's the Red Raiders. Oh my God, this is getting worse. I even have a Trojan diploma. I didn't realize they gave diplomas for that, but ingots. Interesting. Okay. Good show. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Don't have to verbalize anything. I got the wavelength. Yeah. Does that mean that Sarah drives a Trojan hearse? Oh my God. Highly educated. Can major in anything in some colleges. This is true. This is true. We were Tigers. Grr. I can't do it as good as Joe can, but that's the best you're going to get. All right. There is exactly one more show this month. And I haven't 100% decided who I'm going to do it on. So it's either going to be a Ming Dynasty general and writer who is best known for leading defenses against pirates. Talk about synchronicity on that one. And for writing a very, very well-known military manual. Or a folk hero. A Chinese martial artist of the Qing dynasty who has several movies based about him and was played at least twice by Jet Li himself. I'm leaning very, very heavily on the general because we do a pirate now, and next week we do a general who's most famous for defending against pirates and for writing a military manual. That's kind of where I'm leaning, but we will see. Just think of the car with the tunnel from Family Guy, and Donna was a Bobcat. Bobcats are cool. Middle school was racers, literally race cars. They were the midgets. Well, I mean, going from a pirate to a dino doesn't sound bad, but the actual mascot itself went from a pirate to Dino the Dino. So they didn't pick a Utah Raptor. They didn't pick a T-Rex. They didn't pick something that could bite your friggin' head off. No, they picked Dino. And Sarah says, I love you in Dinosaur. Haven't decided who I'm going to do it on. Well, you know. Phrased badly after this conversation. Yeah, well. Walking away from keyboard. Well, you don't have to. It was an homage. There's that word again. Hope it's not Denso. To a basketball team from the school that went to state that was all under 5'5". Then when we got there, people decided it was offensive and changed the mascot. Well, it happens. Yeah, don't worry about the cap lock. Cap lock happens. That happens to everyone. Thank you, Thesis. Enjoyed this one a lot. I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. Think now they do the Raptor? I don't know. I don't pay attention on the very rare occasions we go there for Aspen. Been trying to be good. Bah! Bah! Bah, I say. All right, guys. This was fun. I've enjoyed the last 3 months going over all these folk heroes. We got one more. In 2 weeks, it will officially be 2026, January 3rd. I am planning on doing an AMA. Planning on doing an Ask Me Anything, so you have 2 weeks to come up with questions that you want me to answer that I haven't answered yet. So think of things you want to ask, even if it's things that you have asked me that you want further information on, go ahead and ask. First show of the year, Ask Me Anything. Yes, I know, 2 weeks, I know. Fun show, thanks. Thanks for stopping by, Kevin. I know you don't usually, have time to do these things, but I'm glad you showed up tonight. I really enjoyed having you here. Before I go, a special shout out to my patrons, as always. Carl Witzman, Dan Hollifield, Rich Asplin Jr., Joe and Trelena Bachman. I have an Amazon wish list scrolling down there right now if you want to send me things for Christmas or just because. I have DeviantArt, deviantart.com/BLADEDTH3SIS. You could check out more of my things at indiecd.org, but it is being rebuilt as we speak, so we're not going to really do much about that. Patreon at patreon.com/BLADEDTH3SIS. Or you can buy a shirt at bonfire.com/store/the-teahouse. Spending most of my time making dinner, so couldn't participate. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You were here. It's all good. And yes, it is definitely dinner time. All right, guys. I'll see you in 2 days. Starting a new character in Nine Dragons. Last I heard, unless plans have changed, we are doing a show on Christmas Eve over on Creatives at Play over on the Indie CD channel. We will attempt to make an appearance. If not, right back here next Saturday for the final Chinese Folk Hero show of this year. Thank you all for coming. Better history teacher than I ever had as a Trojan. I'm glad you think so, Sarah. I really do. And good show from Kitty and nice show from Midnight. Thank you, guys. I will see you next time. Zaijian. And yes, it was very fun, and definitely see you later. And good night from Donna.